Sosa, what are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Say hi, Sosa. Say good morning, Sosa. What are you doing? You silly boy. You silly boy. Well, it is Monday morning. It's muggy out here. Look at that sky. There is a 50% chance of rain starting in 20 minutes, and it's only supposed to last for 20 minutes, and it's like 0% the whole rest of the day. But that 50% chance of rain says it's going to hammer down, like hammer down hard rain. So who the heck knows what's going to happen? We're going to go attempt to start mowing anyway and see what happens. A little quick update on the Ferris. What I ended up doing after I got done making that video, well, while the video was uploading, I decided to go back outside and mess with it a little more. And I rode it around, did my neighbor's yard again, and it seemed fine for almost the whole thing. It was going longer before it was crapping out. But I noticed every time I was hitting bumps, not every time, but once I started hitting bumps and then I kept doing it, and on a walk behind, you guys know, everything's bumpy. That's when it really started doing it. So I was thinking, man, there's a loose wire or something somewhere. So I started messing around. The 3 wires that go to the voltage regulator weren't that tight, and 2 of them were dirty. So I pulled them off there, and I used a wire wheel on my drill, and I cleaned the 3 terminals on the voltage regulator, and then I cut the 3 terminal plugs off the wires, and I wired in 3 new ones, plugged them in. I mowed my backyard 6 times, just kept going over it back and forth. And my backyard's pretty damn bumpy, and it never cut out, never hiccuped, never nothing, just ran perfect the whole time. So then I got off, I let it run for a few minutes, I put it away. So that may be the problem. A lot of people suggested the ignition coils, and that's what I thought a few weeks ago, or a week ago, I mean, when it was having that problem. I was thinking, man, because I watched a lot of videos and guys were having them. I mean, they were on 0 turns, they weren't on walk behinds, but really doesn't matter. Small engine, and I've been working on these things my whole life, and if you have an issue, 9 times out of 10 it's always spark or fuel. But nowadays you got to get into safety switches. That makes a huge difference. So I think it may be, and ignition coils were like 42 bucks a piece. I just ordered 2 of them anyway. They'll be here in a couple days, and I'm going to swap them out anyway. What I used to do with them is I would just pull them off engines, because I used to restore older garden tractors. I did that for years. But I just pull them off and then wire wheel the 2 points on them, and then I'd wire wheel the magnet portion on the wheel wherever they make contact with. And then if you don't have a gauge to get it exactly right when you put the coil back on, you just throw a business card in there, let it suck itself tight to the magnet. You tighten down the 2 bolts and pull the business card out, and the gap's usually perfect. So, but anyway, so I'm going to throw them on anyway. I am going to mow with it. I'm going to need that mower before those coils will get here, so I'm going to try to mow with it anyway. We'll see what happens. Hopefully at least gets me through the lawn, the couple lawns I needed on this week, and then if it starts to have problems after that, fine. And I think it probably will be the coils, and I'm just going to change them out anyway. They're not hard to do. They're pretty easy, and I'm just going to swap them out. So, I mean, so the mower's a 2007. I don't have a clue how many hours are on it, and I'm sure they've never been done anyway, so we'll see. Well, I got 2 lawns done, and then I trimmed out and mowed this entire commercial property, these apartments across the front here, and then all down the back. And then that commercial property over there, I don't know if you can see it, I trimmed that whole thing out. I mowed the whole front of it, made 2 passes around the back, and it started pouring and thundering. No lightning yet, but this isn't supposed to last. It's supposed to be a pretty quick shower, so I'm hoping it just dies off and I can finish my day. Today's my daughter's birthday. She turns 15 today, and we're having some people over later, so I'd really like to not be mowing late, but I don't want to start the week off behind already, so I guess we will see what happens next. I don't know. Most of my properties I have drained very well, so and the ground is still pretty dry, so I'm not worried about this water absorbing in. I do not mow in the pouring rain. I will mow in a sprinkle, light sprinkle, which I've been doing all morning, but I do not mow in the pouring rain because it destroys your equipment. It soaks everything on your equipment and it clumps up grass. I mean, I've been using this walker with the bagger, the MT, but for some of them I use the B, and that actually takes care of wet grass pretty good, and nothing's extremely tall right now. So I used the B for 2 lawns this morning and it was perfectly fine, so it didn't clump up anything. That mower's amazing in wet grass, so I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens next. Alright, boys and girls, so here's the deal. I got done mowing my lawns, and now at the end of every Monday I do mine, that neighbor there, and this neighbor here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to do them all with the Ferris instead of the walkers I've been mowing with all day. And we're going to see what happens. A lot of you guys have given suggestions. I think that I fixed the problem, but I'm not sure. Here's the deal. This right there, see that? That's the voltage regulator. This connection going up there was loose and really dirty, so I cut it off. I cleaned all 3 connections and I put a new connector on there. This one here, I just cleaned them and I pulled these out of the plug and I cleaned them, put them back in the plug and put it back on. After I did that, I mowed my backyard 6 times. I just kept going over it and never hiccuped 1 time. So I mean? And then it'll eventually just shut off. Usually it shuts off by now. Oh, there it goes. See? And that's it. Now, do you see what I mean by it sounds like it's starving for fuel? But look, plenty of gas in the fuel filter. It's getting fuel. And if I unscrew the little screw on the side of the carb right there, on the bottom of the bowl, fuel will come right out. So is it flooding itself out, or is it those coils? So what I'll do now, it'll start back up, but I'll have to choke it to start it. It seems like once it gets warmed up and it's hot, that's when it does it. So what do you make of that? So I'll get it started back up, I'll get it back over to my house, and I think what I'll do is I'm going to start pulling the top off it, and we'll check out them coils. Alright, I'm always real good about forgetting to turn the camera on, but anyway, so pulled it in here. I took that top screen off. This sits underneath it. This sits right on there, but over top of the plastic. There's the plastic. It is a bunch of 10mm bolts all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. These 4 bolts are what holds that top screen on, and then these 3 are what holds this screen on, and then the whole thing pulls off. There's one of the coils, and there's the other one. This wire plugs into it, and then the cable goes down to the spark plug. That's it. Same thing. Wire goes into it, this cable goes down to the spark plug. See? Real simple. But the gaps on here look a lot bigger than I would like them to be. Oh, better not forget that. I don't want to lose that. But as they turn, see if I can show you guys if I can get this to turn. There's one. Hold on. See these? There's different areas, and they have they're like magnets, and those coils will, if I could turn this damn thing, will suck right into them. Now, the problem is, a lot of times these get all rusted, and they're supposed to be shiny. And the tips on these, if you can see it, there's one on this side and one on the other side. I'll pull it off here in a second. Those should be shiny. They get real rusty on the end, and these get rusty, which keeps it from creating contact. You know, when it goes past, it needs to, not like contact, like up against the contact, but I don't really know how to explain it to you guys. Those of you that know anything about engines, you'll know what I mean, but man, is it dirty down there. But anyway, so those very well may be my issue, but they look pretty nasty. And that gap, man, it looks like it's almost 1/8 of an inch away. And anytime I've ever done these before, you stick a business card in there, let it suck itself up tight to it, and then that's it. And then you pull the card out after you tighten them down. There's never that much of a gap. But I'm going to pull one of these off here, and I'll show you more what I mean. Okay, that's it. That's a coil pack. Now see these points of contact? There's a one right there, one right there, and one right there. Now as they cross, that magnet right there, as the engine's running and it's spinning, that's what creates... I don't really know how to explain this. I'm not too good at explaining this stuff. I know what they do, how they do it. You know, some of you guys, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's so simple, and you're going to know what I'm trying to say. But that's what creates your electricity to get spark down to your plug. Okay? Now these take a crap. I don't know if there's any way to test them, but I do know that that is supposed to be clean, and these are supposed to be clean. Now, I don't think that I really have to gap. I've always gapped these, but I don't really think that I have to, because them holes, you can't really move these once they're in there. Like all the other ones I've done, they're slotted, and you can slide this in and out. You know what I mean? But you watch, it'll pull right to that magnet. See? See? It pulls right to that magnet. So, I don't know. So this very well may be my issue. It is a lot dirtier than I would want it to be. It looks pretty nasty in there, so that very well may be what is causing it, what's causing my issue. So I've checked all these wires. You know, they're good. None of them are corroded, none of them are frayed. It's dirty as hell in here, but that's about it. Other than that, no big deal.
So I don't know. I guess I'll clean that magnet up for them points right there, so that's nice and shiny, and then I'll put 2 new coils on here and hopefully that fixes my problem. Okay, so check this out. See that solenoid right there, that black box? There's one there, one there. One of them is a fuel solenoid, apparently. And I don't know if one of them is shot, because a lot of other stuff I'm reading on there tells me that they go bad, and that's the problem all the time. These are the 2 that were in there. They don't look so great, but who the hell knows? Anyway, I had 2 brand new ones sitting in the toolbox. Big surprise, right? So, let me shut that light off for a second. What I did was I don't know if you guys can see this. I cleaned up the magnet. It's kind of hard to see now, but both of them are shiny chrome. It took quite a while with a wire wheel on the screw gun, but they were caked right up. So now, see how that's shiny? This coil was the same exact way. It looked like this. You see the difference between the 2? How rusted. That can't make contact with anything, being all rusted like that. Neither can those magnets on the wheel. So I cleaned that up. I just cleaned this one up. I'm gonna clean this one up now. I'm gonna put these both back on there, and maybe in between one of those solenoids and cleaning these coils up and that magnet up, maybe that'll fix the problem. We're gonna find out. Stay tuned. Okay, so I did all that and I got it all back together. It was running great, and then I started to find the problem. I sat still right there and engaged the PTO because it ran great up and down the road. No PTO, no nothing. And I engaged the PTO while I sat still right there, put a load on it, and then it started. I put my spark tester on there. It's actually, I have an inline one, but I can't find it. But this here, you just touch it to the line, and the light will be flashing inside that. It looks like a fuse, an inline fuse, but the light flashes. And as it was dying, running before it stalled, I held it on there and it flashed non-stop on there. I came over here and I held it on this spark plug wire, and it was flashing, then it would stop, then it was flashing, then it would stop. That tells me the coil on this side is bad. So, looks like that's my problem. I got a bad coil on that side, I believe. I guess we'll find out. So, verdict. After putting them coil packs back on, it cleaned them up, put them on, and ran really good for a few minutes, and it started having issues again. Put the inline spark on there. I think I already said all this. I don't know. Sporadic videos and pieces, it makes me forget certain stuff. But anyway, so turns out the back coil pack was bad. So I went and I got 2 new coil packs. I know I already said I ordered them. I didn't want to wait for them. So when they come in, I'll just return them, send them back. It's no big deal. Or maybe I'll just keep them. Who knows? Never know when you need them again. But so I put the 2 new coil packs on there, and man, it turned over just like that. No choke, no nothing. I've had to choke that thing every time I start it, from cold, whether it's hot. Either way, since the day I got it. And I didn't need to choke it all. Fired right up, ran great. I sat here in the driveway with the PTO engaged, the blades going. I sat there for about 15 minutes. And never hiccups, never nothing. Drove around the back and worked good until I went to turn the key off and the ignition started flopping around there. The ignition's bad in it too, so which could also have led to part of that problem, but the coil pack was definitely bad. So I changed both of them. And I already had a part. I wasn't playing around. Changed them both. So that's done, and now I'll just grab a new ignition, and that's it. So I guess this solves the problem. I hope. I say that now and watch. Next time I use it, it'll take a crap again, but I don't know. Let's hope that was it. It seems to me that it all makes sense with all the input you guys have given me. Thank you to all you that have helped out. Even the ones that gave me info that didn't turn out to be a problem, I still appreciate it. It gave me other things to check that I hadn't already, or some stuff I had. But either way, you guys helped me out a lot, so thank you very much. And hopefully that's it. Hopefully she's fixed.